Welcome back. Now we're going to look at variances. So by looking at variances, we're going to compare our actual costs to what we expected our costs to be at standard. Standard is what it costs us to produce our products if everything goes exactly according to plan, which we know it doesn't. So we're always going to have some variances, and as managers, we are going to investigate the biggest variances first to find out why they happened, and then we'll work our way down to the variances that are within our acceptable range. But before we can do any of that, we need to understand what are our variances. By how much did we deviate from plan? So we are going to do that right now. So go back into your worksheet 1, and you're on the tab that says DMDL variance. Okay. So we are going to look at our direct materials variances and our direct labor variances and our total overhead variance. And then we're going to take a closer look in this video at our direct material and direct labor variances. And in the next video, we'll look at overhead. Okay, so we want, up here we have some information. So we know that if everything goes right, to make 1 unit of our product, we should use 6 pounds of materials, and they should cost us $8 a pound, right? We checked with the engineering. They said, hey, it's going to take you 6 pounds of material, and our purchasing manager says, yeah, we'll get that for 8 pounds or $8 a pound. So that's our standard. Our direct labor is every unit should require 2 hours of direct labor, and we are paying our people $16 an hour. So that's our standard. Our overhead, we're applying it based on direct labor hours, so we still have 2 hours, and our overhead, we're allocating at a rate of $12 an hour. This is all standard if everything goes perfect. All right, now let's look at our actuals. We actually used 48,500 pounds of materials, and we paid $8.10 a pound on average. We actually used 15,700 hours, and we paid $16.50 an hour. Maybe there was a holiday in there. We had to have people work on Sunday. For some reason, we paid more than we thought. And our actual overhead was 198,000. Our actual units manufactured was 8,000, and that's going to be important when looking at, excuse me, our standard. Okay, so our actual cost, we actually used 48,500 pounds, and we paid $8.10 a pound. So if we take 48,500 times $8.10 a pound, our actual cost was $392,850. Our standard cost, what it should have cost us to make 8,000 units, is the 8,000 units we actually manufactured times 6 pounds per unit times $8 per pound. So the 8,000 is what we actually manufactured. The number of units we actually manufactured. The 6 is how many pounds we should have used per unit. And the $8 is how many dollars we should have paid per pound. Turns out our standard cost for making 8,000 units was $384,000. And our variance is going to just be actual minus standard. Variance is $8,850. We spent more than we should have, than we planned to, so that is going to be an unfavorable variance. You're going to need to characterize each of your variances as favorable or unfavorable. An unfavorable variance is when actual is more than standard. A favorable variance is when standard is more than actual. Okay, so let's actually jump down here. Within our direct materials variance, we are, there's 2 reasons we could have had a variance. Either we used more product or more materials in each product than we thought we were going to, or we paid more for the materials than we expected to. So that's our price variance when we paid more, and our quantity variance when we used more. So to calculate our price variance, we're going to take the actual quantity times the actual price minus actual quantity times our standard price. So our actual quantity times our actual price is, we actually used 48,500 pounds, and we actually paid $8.10 per pound. Okay, perfect. Our actual quantity is still 48,500, but our standard price is we're supposed to pay $8 a pound. So our variance, our price variance, is our actual minus, or the number on the left, I should say, minus the number on the right. So we had a 4,850 unfavorable direct materials price variance. Okay. Our quantity variance is actual quantity times standard price minus standard quantity times standard price. So our actual quantity is 48,500 times our standard price of $8 per pound. Our standard quantity is going to be 8,000 units times, our standard says we use 6 pounds per unit, times $8 per pound is $384. So our total direct materials quantity variance is 4,000, which is an unfavorable direct materials quantity variance. All right. Then we can go up here, and if we add together our two variances, they equal 8,550, which is exactly what we had up here. So this is our direct materials variance, and it is unfavorable, meaning we spent more than standard. All right, so what this allows us to do is understand where things went wrong. Of that entire $8,850 variant, direct materials variance, 4,850 is because we paid too much, right? Our standard says we're supposed to pay $8 an hour, but we actually, or $8 a pound, but we actually paid $8.10 a pound. So that price variance contributes to $4,850 of our total variance. $4,000 of our variance is because we used too much. We were supposed to use 6 pounds per unit, but we used something more than that, and that contributed $4,000 to our variance. So now we know we can go to our purchasing manager and say, hey, why'd I pay an extra 10 cents a pound? And I can go to my production manager and say, why are we using more than what the engineering specs say? Maybe there's an issue with the quality. Maybe our workers are being a little careless with the materials. There's a million things that could be going wrong, legitimate and otherwise. But now we know who to go talk to. And that's all these variances do, is they help us to manage by exception and know who to go talk to when we have a variance. Okay, let's do the direct labor variance. You know what? Let's do that in a whole different video. We'll split these up. All right, I'll see you next time. We'll do direct labor variance.